Say a cup of coffee and I'd be down because I'm just tired.
Hey, Mr. Lad, I didn't know you were at the birthday of the bird.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the WBC Talks, to the weekly press conference. I was checking Victor Silva. I don't see him. Is he here? Okay, please, Victor, I'm doing your job. Go ahead.
I thought that you want to do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WBC. This is a special round. This is round number 30, but this time it's a press conference where we're going to show the 𝗪𝗖 belts. And welcome and thanks for being here. I see Stephen, Garrett, Lance, Jake, Chris, Manuk, Giandra, Marcos, Gustavo, and Rob. I don't see Barry Lindenman. And Bill Kaplan. I don't see Bill Kaplan.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We cannot
want to see you.
Face.
You are the visual attraction for the
Victor.
press conference, Bill.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I'm so relieved. Hello, my only president.
How are you, Uncle Bill? Well,
Very well, thank you. And Victor as well. Hello, Victor.
Hello, Bill. Thanks for being here.
Today is Cinco de Mayo. It's a very special day for boxing. As you all know, it has been a tradition for so many years that the most important fights take place on Cinco de Mayo, September 16, celebration weekends. This is a tradition that the Mexican people migrating to the USA and so many interest in boxing goes back to 60 years when the first fights starting taking place on those dates. Today it's a tradition. TV networks and the biggest promoters plan their yearly schedule, taking in consideration those two dates. We started in 2017 to create commemorative trophies, beautiful, unique belts, which represent a culture of Mexico. Mexico has many different cultures all around the country. So we started with the Huichol belt, then it was the Chiapas, the Chapaneco, then the Mayan belt. For this year, we created a very beautiful piece, unique. It was a very complicated process to be able to finalize the belt because of this lockdown. But with the collaboration of the artisans, with the gallery of art, Rubico, with the tequila time, huh?
Cheers for your health. Cinco de Mayo. Viva la raza. Cinco de Mayo. Viva la raza.
Eso. I'm going to join you in a little while.
Doble.
Doble. That's Garrett.
Mauricio, pay
Yes.
no attention to that crazy man.
Garrett's going for a first round knockout.
Victor, do we have the video that we can show of the creation of the belt?
Yes, the video is ready.
Okay, let's watch it, please. So this is the belt. This is the beautiful creation. It has a lot of energy. And if you can see, this is the obsidian plaque. This plaque is a millennial. Is Romina in the chat today? Ah,
Yes, I am here. Hello, how are you?
could you please
Hi,
explain?
Mauricio.
Échanos una explicada en inglés de la placa.
Okay, I will do it. Well, hello, I am Romina 𝗧𝗟𝗡. I am a designer specialized in jewelry, and I work with 𝗪𝗕𝗖, who is a workshop of art. First, I'm going to explain what 𝗪𝗕𝗖 is, because we are all the time working in trying to make an art of movement that highlights the Mexican culture with playful essence and creative freedom. 𝗪𝗕𝗖 focuses on developing works of art, products, and activities for recreational purposes. And what we did is that I am a 𝗪𝗕𝗖's project CEO, and we are delighted to be in this project with the WBC for the Mazahua belt. So we have to create the centerpiece of the belt, which is made in black obsidian and in golden obsidian. First, why we made it in black obsidian was because this is from Teotihuacan, you know, the pyramids. We have a lot of this kind of material there, and from pre-Hispanic times, they were working with this volcanic glass. The obsidian is a volcanic glass. So the base of our plate is made in black obsidian, which has the particularity characteristic that you can see the sun through it, so without harming your eyes. So you can see a total eclipse easily, and it's a beautiful, how do you say, thing, because you cannot see the sun just like that. You have to see it like this, but you can see clearly how this works.
This special stone from the volcán. Víctor, pon la foto de. I want to show you the effect that this makes with the sun. That's exactly the belt. The sun reflected on the plaque going into the wall. So whenever we have a chance to see each other in person, I'm going to present the belt to you so you can really see it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And we will do that in Las Vegas on the next opportunity. Thank you very much, Romina. Thank you. So, are there any questions about the 5 de Mayo belt?
How long did it take to create?
400 hours. It was made, the embroidery by 2 women, the plaque by 𝗪𝗕𝗖 Art Gallery, the flags and the metal piece by the WBC manufacturer of belts, and the leather that holds everything together and the ensembling by Reyes Company. So it's 4 different components. With the lockdown, it was very difficult to coordinate, but at the end we have this unbelievable piece that unfortunately there was no fight. We are in the process of figuring out what to do with the belt. One thing we want to do is certainly dedicated to the so many heroes that are fighting for us right now. In the medical field, the first responders, all the forces that are looking out and risking their lives for others. So we're going to find a way to make this commemoration of this horrible world situation and turn it into a celebration for those heroes.
Mauricio, you were planning to give this to the winner of the Canelo-Saunders fight, May 5th in Las Vegas?
Yes,
originally?
yes.
What do you think, right now, where are you thinking you'll take this belt to? What fight now?
That's what I was trying to explain. I don't know if we're going to do it for another fight or do a raffle for the proceeds to go to specific cause, or to place it in a museum, or simply find an activation where we can dedicate this piece for the heroes of humanity all over the world that have been working. We're trying to figure out if anyone has an idea. I would love for you to help us in making sure that this piece goes to the right purpose in the right way.
I have an idea, Mauricio.
There's an old guy in England, Mauricio, is 100 years old, who has walked 100 laps of his garden.
$17 million.
Who has raised 33 million pounds.
33 million pounds.
Wow.
And I think he is a fighter. He's 100 years old. He's the kind of person that deserves the belt. He set out to raise £1,000, but he's raised 33 million.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
That's a great story, and
he's 100 years old.
We're fully aware of it, and he's. I don't know if you all saw. We announced last week an activation, which is Heroes for Humanity. We are giving different levels of awards for different heroes. So people nominate. It can be a nurse, a doctor, a first responder, someone who is doing things during these complicated times. And we have a selection committee, and everybody's getting these different types of awards. And we are aware of this 100-year-old man who's a hero.
Captain Tom Moore. Has he been nominated?
He has been nominated. Okay. We're fully aware of it. And in fact, that was an immediate response. We're sending already the medal to the UK to be presented. Victor, la foto de las medallas?
Right now.
I'm sorry?
Me, Coogan, and Rob nominate that guy right now.
Yes, absolutely. Uncle Bill, you said you had an idea?
Well, I think the crazy man's idea is better than mine. I was going to say to make it a combination of two of the things that you said, and that would be to dedicate the belt to the heroes in the healthcare field. Obviously, they're very more than deserving. To dedicate it to them, but also to put the belt up for auction for a fundraiser for your worthy cause. Maybe you could do both.
Great idea.
Or you could make a special belt in a triple extra large and send it to me.
Okay. Victor, do you have the picture of the medals and the certificate or no?
No, I don't have it right here. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, we'll show it in a little while. We have another topic that I would like to present. It is a medical and administrative protocol that the WBC has designed and put in place. This protocol has been sent to boxing federations, boxing commissions, and promoters. And it is a very thorough document. It's been put together by doctors, by boxing administrators, and by people who are aware of the several situations that have to be completely discussed. So this is just a briefing. The document is a very large document. Whoever would like to receive it, we'll be happy to send it to you. And basically, it goes from A to Z regarding everything that has to be considered in case of putting together an event. This is designed for behind closed doors without public events. So the first thing to do, we tackle down who are the participants, who can be there, who must be there, and do it at the minimum reduced number of persons to maximize the security. So it's boxers and their teams, boxing commission, the ring officials, the medical services, the supervisors and whoever has to work from a commission, production TV crew, and specialized medical personnel that run the whole process, and the WBC supervision in case of WBC involvement. The first step is a questionnaire that is run by every single person who's going to be participating. It's a questionnaire that it is put. Give me just 1 second.
Mauricio,
Yes.
can I ask how many people you estimate in that group that's highlighted by the red? A rough estimate on a card, how many people?
Well, let's say you have 4 fights, then you have eight fighters, okay? And we are calculating at least 1 person with each fighter. So that's 16. Then you have the boxing commission, which also has to go at the minimum. Then the production TV. So it would be around 40 to 50 persons in a close event. I think down the road, you will be able to see it clearly. The first thing you do is you put the questionnaire. This questionnaire is created by the World Health Organization. And what it will do, it will give a risk number for that specific person. Age, has he traveled? Has he been in contact with anyone who has been sick of COVID? Does he have any risk factors like, ¿cómo se dice azúcar? Sugar. No, hombre. Diabetes, heart, etc., etc. Por favor. Lung. So yeah. Once you get that questionnaire, most of the fighters, of course, they are young, and most of them are very healthy. So if they have not traveled, if they have not been in contact with anyone sick, the level of risk factor is very low. Next, they have a COVID-19 test performed. Then you do a medical record for the current state. Then they have to go 14 days in isolation in a recluded place where they will have all guarantees of being in isolation, with a daily monitoring of their temperature and their whole situation.
Mauricio?
Yes?
Is the isolation only for the fighters or everybody involved in the event?
It is designed only for the fighters and their teams. And there's a protocol for the boxing commission. There's a protocol for the television crew and anyone who has to be part of this process. Then there's a second test, which is on day 14 after the incubation period. Uncle Bill, you have a heavy breathing.
No, that's not me. It's probably Gareth Davies.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually not breathing while I'm listening. Someone, though, is heavy breathing, and it's turning me on, and I wish they'd stop doing it. Because I may have to leave if the person carries on.
So after all the tests and studies take place, then you can schedule the fight. Once that 14-day period is finalized, when you had the initial COVID-19 and then the confirmation 14 days after they've been in reclusion, then you can schedule the event. We have a specific concentration headquarters sanitation protocol. So you sanitize the living rooms, the restaurant, the gym, all the places where they're going to be, and it has a protocol, international protocol to be followed. Can we go to the next, please?
Mauricio, can I ask you something about the venue?
Yes.
Will you have the venue locked off to the general public? So if it's a hotel, will it be specific to that fight event with no admittance for other people?
Well, that's the optimal situation. Of course, this is a recommendation document for promoters and boxing jurisdictions. So it can vary. They can use something, they can use part of it. The ideal would be, of course, to be a lockdown place. Regardless, the places that we are considering, that there could be a boxing arena, a boxing gymnasium, a hotel, ballroom, or a box or sports complex. So what they do, the sanitation goes and does the whole thing in the venue. Dressing room, hallways, ringside area, and everything that has to do with the venue. There's no public, so it is a very easy way to understand where it will be done. The previous events, press conference and weigh-in, it will be no public, by Zoom or any platform, and just like we do the 30 and 14-day weigh-in, just the person gets in scale and it is monitored that way. So there is absolutely no contact. The only transportation they have is from going from that concentration to the venue and back. The medical committee, there will be a medical group appointed to follow the whole process, starting from the questionnaire, coordination of the tests, the daily monitoring, all the way to the end of the event. Of course, there has to be the local boxing jurisdiction medical requirements to also be considered, whatever the local boxing commission has to do with every single fighter. Can we go to the next, please? So the sanitization, we already talked about it. The vehicles, which is basically only to go to the venue, and the arena, and where the card take place, we have already discussed. The other topic, well, are there any questions regarding the protocol?
I have some questions, Mauricio. It might be better for me to wait towards the end. With all these protocols, and this is probably a better question for when you complete your presentation, what type of buy-in do you expect to receive from promoters, or have they given you any feedback on these proposed protocols? And if a promoter doesn't want to comply with this, does this mean that the WBC won't sanction their fight? Are you talking about a complete quarantine where everyone is locked down together for 14 days at a specific venue? Because then you have to discuss, promoters have different deals with different hotels, they want to use this hotel, they want to use that hotel, etc. Would this be one centralized place where promoters will have to comply with the WBC's regulations in order to have their fight sanctioned?
Well, it's a very, very good question. I appreciate it. This is a proposed protocol for the boxing industry to use. They can use it, they can use part of it. We have to understand that every country has different rules and laws. Every state in the United States has different guidelines and laws. So while some states might open before others, while some countries open in different ways with different regulations, this is a document that can allow promoters to stage events basically behind closed doors without public. And it is a very solid, very strict protocol. Maybe for a jurisdiction, there's no need for the lockdown, for the isolation, and they will be satisfied only with a fast test of COVID-19. Some others might be more strict. So this is just a general recommendation. It is not a document that has to do with a WBC World Championship event. It is a general recommendation for boxing in general.
Can I ask another question there, adding to what Gendra said? I don't want to slow down your presentation, but let's say Are these all legally binding issues? Because there's a thing at the moment going around, like within soccer here. Two words: corporate manslaughter. Okay, and I use those two words with respect. That if people are forced into, say, defending their title, and these requirements are there,
there is no order right now on mandatories.
okay.
Right now, we're going to work with every promoter, with every champion, with every mandatory contender, and address every topic isolated. Let me give you an example. Our bantamweight champion, 𝗪𝗧𝗧, he lives in France, and he has been completely locked down for 40, 50 days. No sparring, no training. That's a different scenario from a fighter who could be in Mexico or in the United States with sparring or with training, full facilities. 𝗪𝗧𝗧 specifically has been in an apartment for 50 days. So we're going to take his case and his mandatory fight with Donaire specifically, and we're going to work together with them, with the promoters, to see he might not be able to travel for 3 or 4 months or whatever. So every case is going to be different. There is no mandate from the WBC that will hurt any person, any fighter, any promoter.
That's all I was thinking, was if someone's partner or wife had a very extreme asthma, or some of those, you know, they were vulnerable to catching COVID, that boxer would be exposed to himself if he goes to a larger environment. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah, let me give you an example. Let's say a Mexican champion from Mexico who lives in Guadalajara, and his promoter says, well, now I'm going to do the fight regardless. And he has a mandatory. He cannot force the mandatory contender into taking that fight if it is not absolutely secure. So we're going to work together with the promoters, champions, and mandatory contenders throughout the process.
Mauricio, I have a question on the protocols. Looking at it, there's no follow-up after the fight or anything like that. I didn't see anything like that, because a lot of times someone could be asymptomatic and they won't test positive till a few days later. So say they have a fight, they seem fine, and then 5 days later something comes up. Is there any sort of follow-up protocol for people that fight at the events and then they go back home?
Yes, there is a final checkpoint after, when, you know, it depends. After the event, they have to go to the place where they lived for 14 days or 3 weeks. The event is over, and then they're going to have a couple of days to go back home, and there's going to be a final test before they leave and a follow-up test 14 days after they leave for those who were in an event.
Mauricio, a question from my end here that I think impacts pretty much everyone on this call. How do you see the media covering the sport moving forward? What's going to be our access like at these events moving forward? And how about our safety in regard to how close we get to the fighters and the officials?
Yeah, that's something that has to be absolutely considered. You know, I believe life will resume eventually in different areas, and we are certainly going to do things different, everyone. Whether you're a reporter, you're a fighter, you're a doctor, you're a supermarket attendant, any activity in the world will be different one way or another. And I see this type of platforms to take a much more active role in your role as a journalist. I see much more video conferences like this one happening with fighters, with promoters. But I am very confident that maybe in 1 year, 6 months, whatever, 2 years, we will be back at full as we all have lived in the past.
So for example, if there's a fight, let's say in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, or Texas, New York, you've envisioned those fights happening without us specifically being inside the building?
No, I think it has to do with the limitations that each government will put. There are governments that have prohibited live events with public. I don't know if they're going to do a protocol to consider the press. The press is not public, so press could be considered part of the production of the event. So I think, but that is not us to have. Each jurisdiction will have to set the guidelines on how will the press will be able to cover the events.
You, Mauricio, I know there's been talk about.
Yeah, Lance, please.
Yeah, Mauricio, I know there's been talk from Fernando Beltran in Mexico about staging a June 6th card in Mexico City, I believe at TV Azteca Studios. Is this protocol something that you've already delivered to Mr. Beltran, and how do you plan to distribute this to all the promoters?
Yes, we sent an initial batch to several promoters and boxing commissions. We have finalized the translation and the summary. The summary that you saw is the result of a very large document. And we will do a direct email to all the boxing promoters, to all the boxing federations of the world, and all the boxing commissions. And Sanfer, yes, they have this protocol. They've been speaking with Azteca to put together an event in Mexico. They're looking into all the specifics, and we have put a team to support them in every single process.
And you're confident that card will take place as of now?
Well, it looks like they already, they're doing the due diligence, the questionnaires. They're putting together the place where they can be in isolation. So it looks very positive.
Great, thank you.
Mauricio, I have another question.
Yes.
How different are these protocols, or how similar are they to the commissions that you have spoken to here in the United States?
I believe the commissions are working on their own documents. I have not seen one finalized, and I just want to make sure that this is a clear message, that this is not anything for ego or for putting anything, that this is just a document for anyone to use, and our only wish is it helps the jurisdictions and the promoters. It has nothing to do that this is ours and we created it. If they want to use it, they want to take parts of it, they create their own, that is perfectly fine, because every single country, every single state will have different guidelines.
And that's a concern, I would say, of I guess people covering in certain states, because obviously certain states have certain different heads of political parties that have laxer rules and regulations based on, you know, their state. So I see your document is pretty thorough, but then a commission could have a more lax set of protocols. So I was kind of wondering if a WBC fight, a title fight does happen in a state where they have laxer protocols, what happens there?
Yeah, if it comes to a WBC world title fight, we will definitely be working to make sure that the participants are secure. So I don't want to anticipate, or because it's not there yet, but whenever an event is set to be taking place, we will participate and we will make sure that the most secure scenario is in place for everyone. As an example, we have, for every title fight, we have minimal medicals that each fighter, champion and challenger must comply with. And these are standards. These can vary in several commissions. So what we do, we communicate with the commission and we make sure that their standards are complied with as well as ours. So there is always collaboration in that matter. Okay, I'm gonna present also another initiative that we have ready, which is the ¿cómo se llama, Víctor?
The judges.
Yeah, but what's the name of it? Just put the presentation, please.
Remote judging.
Remote judging. This is a remote official judging. We have been working for a couple of years. You have been presented the online remote evaluation of ring officials. So this platform is ready to be used in case it will help to reduce the number of persons in a boxing card. So the judges will have, they will be judging from home via access to the live audio and audio. The audio we would have without commentary of the television network, so it's a clean international feed. We have the app, so the judges have the app. They are in the secure communication. The judges score the round. It gets fed into the administration system. It gets to the supervisor and the local commission, and then it gets put into the concentration sheet. There's a contingency plan for failure of connections. So we have plan B, plan A, and plan C. Can we go to the next, please? Basically, this is the way the app looks. The judge has in its screen the fighter, and all he has to do is at the end of the round press the number 10, 9, 8, 7, or 6 for that fighter, and then the other fighter, and then submit.
Mauricio, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
With the feed that they're going to be watching, is it going to be like the same feed that, say, everyone on TV would be watching? It'd be all the same?
That's a very important question, because it will depend on the economics. This production, there are fights that are produced by Showtime, by ESPN. So they have very good production with many cameras, and they have the capability of providing the feed in one way or another, compared to other low budget where they can only have a certain amount of angles. So that's a question that is good. The way it is proposed right now is to get the feed that the fans will get on television.
I think that would also help a lot because a lot of times, you know, fans disagree with judges, but a lot of fans watch it on TV, and that might clear up some of those issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's so different to judge a fight when you're live than from television. That's a given. That is absolute. But it's a matter that we are just putting this out, innovation, and something that is a possibility that can be used. Next, please. This is a concentration card where you get the 3 scores every round and a running total at the bottom. So this is what the system gets once the judges input the score. Next, please. Oh, the faces. So we are finalizing this. It also has a specifications of what the judge has to do. He has to be in a quiet room with specifications of a screen, with the headphones getting the feed, and all these things that we have I see here, 2 great officials, Barry Lindemann and Steve Morrow. Welcome to the conversation. I don't know if you would like to make a comment, Barry.
I think the comment that I would like to make is that I've personally used Matt Podgorski's, live scoring remotely from home, and I think it works. And I have no doubt that this would work also if we're forced into this situation. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that quality judges, whether or not they're live in the arena or whether or not they're at home scoring, are going to do a good job.
Yeah, Barry Lindemann is one of the officials that is in the pool of officials that work on this certification that we do on most title fights. Steve Morrow, he says he doesn't have a microphone. He's sorry, but he agrees with Barry. He has used it many times and it works great.
Mauricio, I have a question. So with the recommendation of remote judging, what in your mind would be ideal? Because when I think of the face of some of these judges, a lot of these judges are the age of my elder relatives who are not as technologically savvy. So there would need to be someone there to assist them to make sure everything is working. So would it be ideal to you for them to stay home and do it, or maybe sequester them in a place, not necessarily in the arena with the same type of setup, where they can watch the fight, but have someone available just in case, oh, the Wi-Fi is slow or the stream goes out, or I don't know where to plug my mic in. Baby, what you say? Where do I plug this in? Like all of those different scenarios that because it's realistically, a lot of our judges are senior in age who are not people of the tech world.
We have tried in the past the tablets at ringside, okay? Because today they score in a piece of paper and they give it to the referee and the referee gives it to the commission. So we worked very hard for several years with a pad where they would put 10-9, just like this solution, and then it would go to the computer of the commission. And we had several problems. They pressed the wrong button or whatever happened. So that is absolutely an issue. It would have to be a pool of officials that are trained, that are familiar with the system, that are proven that they can work. But also, you made a great point. Another consideration is to have the judges go to a studio where they can watch the fight in a panel and score it from there. As I say, this is innovation. There's many alternatives. There is not one solution for anything. These are just things that we're throwing out in case they can be helpful. I see also John Mathis is here in the meeting. How are you, John? Any comment? He's a ring official from Massachusetts. Any comments, John? Your microphone is off.
You're right, Giandra.
Literally what I was thinking. I'm one of those people, I do have a laptop and I do have to have a, so I think those are good ideas. I think the fights can be scored remotely, and I don't think I'd have any problem doing it myself.
Right.
Do you think you're watching a
just to be clear also, we did not invite John or Steve or Barry to the meeting. So it's not like we set up so they talk about this matter. Yes, Gareth.
I just wanted to ask John, do you think you are, because you're watching it in 2D, do you think it is a different, even though it'll be even, because all three of you or four of you or five of you, however many they decide to use, because you're all watching it in the same process rather than live, it doesn't actually matter, even though it's in 2D?
I don't think it matters. I used to watch all televised fights, and I always scored the fights at home. And I think generally I didn't have really any problem with most officials scoring, and I think mine matched up with a lot of the officials. So where some people say TV is tougher to score, I don't really feel that necessarily. I think I can judge a fight on TV or live.
But it's different though, isn't it?
I don't really think it's well, because we have good broadcasting. I mean, you have TV, and the shot that you're seeing is almost like you're there. It's very close. If you had a camera that was way back, I think that would be difficult. But basically, on TV, we're seeing what we would see at ringside.
Let me tell you, Gareth, you are right. It's different, but it is different for every judge in the arena. If you're on this side of the ring, if you're on the other side, you're on the other side, you are watching different things. When you have the fighters right here, you see things that other two judges don't see, and vice versa. So this is, it's not easy. It's something that will certainly have a room for discussion, because
so all three judges will see the same camera angle, yeah?
It depends.
Yeah.
If we're able to reach a great production where they can give you different angles. Look, one problem in television is that it is produced for the fans, for the entertainment. So you have the long shot angle, then you have a little from the face, then they move from this side and this side. So the whole round, you're not watching the same angle. So it is just a matter that to try it out. If we can get the clean feed from one side, and that's all that you watch. It's different, but if you watch what all the fans see, but it's just an exercise.
But during the fight, we would have different views too, depending on what side of the ring you're on. So
exactly.
And the bad thing was we wouldn't see the ring girls walking around during.
There are no ring girls. No?
Well, are there any other questions anyone has? Chris,
do you already have the September belt like in your mind? Do you already have that one set up, or when do you start thinking of that?
It's already designed. It's gonna be start production. This Masagua, we go 1 year by community. So the September belt will be the Masagua Otomi belt produced by the same group. We will have it ready by the end of August.
Mauricio, if this is a possibility going forward, will this also be an opportunity maybe to catch up with judges, to brush up on like a training kind of, things to look at, just like an opportunity like a refresher, since it's not only new technology, but it could possibly, because typically our judges are shoulder to shoulder, sitting from the same perspective in the same place, slightly different positions, but next to each other. So would this be like a re-education type of opportunity as well?
Yeah, this is certainly when things like this happen, it changes the whole world. This is an opportunity to look into another alternative. Also, we're going to work with the promoters very much regarding the economics. The WBC criteria, rules and regulations for appointment of ring officials calls for neutrality of nationalities. So if you have a fight in Japan and there's a Japanese against a American, none of the ring officials can be nor Japanese nor American. They have to from other parts of the world. And at this time, I see the economics for everyone will be a difficult situation. We might rely on adjusting that rule and supporting the promoter to have more local officials from that area. We're looking at every single aspect that has to do with this pandemic to be close to everyone and be supportive. if this can eventually be developed as a scoring system with great numbers of accuracy, then maybe the scoring will be performed from home. You save the promoters the expenses of travel, hotel, and meals, and that could be another opportunity for more officials to be working events in a more secure in terms of quality of scoring. So we're looking at different angles at everything, and this could be a helpful tool for everyone involved.
Mauricio, in fact, Nancy told us that Marcos does scoring for Fox, I think, on television.
Yeah, Marcos, he has been, we have been doing a process. He will eventually be registered and certified by the WBC as a ring official. He has been very proactive. He wants to learn, because we can all sit down and just call a fight and try to score it as a fan. But there's a lot of important matters to consider. And Marcos, he's been an example, a very gratifying example of journalism into the sport. So Marcos, what's your experience scoring?
Well, you know, obviously, like when I've done it, and even when I was started in the beginning, and I shadowed Steve Farhood, you know, we're mostly looking at the monitor. Very few times do we look at the monitor and then look up at the ring. It's mostly we're on the monitor because that's what the fans at home are seeing. And I've noticed it's more of a unobstructed angle that we get because of the angles. Like there is times where the angle cuts away and we miss a punch, but it's very, very rare when we're watching on a monitor. So I think with the remote viewing through the TV screen, because of how the high levels of production from the TV broadcasters, that I could see it being better in some cases, because, you know, there is times where the view is obstructed. You know, you're just seeing the back of the fighter, and when a punch lands, you can't see the punch being landed sometimes unless you're really, really trained to notice, hey, the head's moving back. The other guy is scoring punches. You know, my question with the app and all that is what would happen if someone by chance presses the wrong score, or like their phone gets all buggy and like it shuts off? Like, is there any sort of contingency plan for that case if that happens, or maybe even like a computer crashes?
Yeah, of course, there's possibility of things happening. We have, as I said, plan A, B, and C, which has direct communications by phone, alternative, and different officials to walk in case one communication gets all. So there is consideration. You can never cover everything because you never know what will happen, but we slightly have mostly everything covered.
Mauricio, have you talked to any of your colleagues? I'm sorry, just one last question. Have you chatted at all with any of your colleagues at the WBO and the IBF, and just to kind of get their feelings on this?
No, we have spoken only to say hello with Mr. 𝗪𝗪𝗖 and with the IBF, with Darrell Peoples. We have not discussed any boxing. Just a very personal, friendly communication so far. But you just gave me a very good idea. I should reach out and share and have some discussions with them.
I'll send you my invoice.
Please do so.
Mauricio, can I just say something about the remote training?
Sure.
Thanks to Andy Foster at the California Athletic Commission, the judges are getting together on a weekly basis to review rounds and score the rounds, you know, collectively and to discuss them. And that's been a big help, because then we're not choosing, you know, just easy rounds. We're choosing close or sometimes controversial rounds, so we can get an idea of what it's like to score rounds from video rather than being there live. So we're already getting, quote, the training to do this remote scoring. which is, I found very helpful.
Absolutely, yes. Very good. Victor, can you show the medal that you had put? So this is a medal that we created for the heroes of humanity. And as I mentioned, we put it out. A lot of people are sending nominations, and it's been very gratifying all over the world. And it is very nice. This is a certificate that they get by email, and then they get a printed version. And for those levels of higher representation, we'll get medals. And there's a ceremony for the end of the year where we'll get together with all the recipients. Manny Pacquiao, José Carlos Ramírez, Javier Castillejos, Eric Morales. What they have done is outstanding. The way they have come out in difficult times and proven their Amir Khan in the UK and proven what it is all about of compassion. And Kim Clavel, the NABF champion, who returned to nursing and has been in the trenches after she found out this was happening. She decided to go back and practice. So this is something, anyone who has a nomination, you are free and invited to do so. Just send us an email, and there's the committee that evaluates and runs it. And this is very gratifying to give back recognition to those who deserve it. I would like to thank you very, very much for your time, for joining us in this press conference. And anytime you have, hello, Coco. I saw Coco Black, but I didn't know it was Coco Kobe.
Yeah. I'm going back to black.
You know, no, wait, Coco. She's so futuristic. If you all know Coco, the way she says hello is by distance. Social distancing ever.
Yes, I'm the queen of that.
Yeah, you know, Mexicans were very, you know, every time we try to hug, and she's just going like this, like a good boxer. I'm happy to see you, Coco.
Thank you.
So I'd like to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so very much for your time. And it's good to see your face, hear your voices. And I cannot wait to see you in person, my dear friends from everywhere.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you, Mauricio.
Take care. God bless. Stay safe.
Gracias,
Stay
Mauricio. Nos vemos.
Gracias, campeón. Cuídese.
Igualmente.
Un abrazo, que estén muy bien.
Gracias, Esteban.
No.
Uncle Bill. I love you, Uncle Bill. Put on your microphone.
Bill, we can't hear you. Put your mic on.
Put your microphone, Uncle Bill. No, we cannot hear you.
Bill, your microphone, bottom left, turn it on.
He turned the screen off.
Uh-oh. Hope it's not one of those people who have technological problems.
Safe to say Bill won't be judging the fights.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to say one thing. I hope we bring boxing back pretty soon, so I don't have to walk in the room and see the housewives of Beverly Hills on TV all the time.
Here's Uncle Bill on the phone. So God bless, take care, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Mauricio.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.